We are live, and we got some early plays to PimpSlap for this week of football. Oh, we got one college game each, one NFL game each, and of course, teaser time as well. We'll quickly relook over what happened last week. I had Iowa, which could have covered. They were up for a little bit in that game. They had a punt return touchdown towards the end that they end up ruling a fair catch. So that was fun. I had the Rams -3, which they were leading for a little bit and then fell apart late. But I did have the teaser with the Giants and the Seahawks, which came through. The teasers have been pretty good on this show. So 1-2 last week after the 3-0 sweep the week before. So not the best result, but it is what it is.
Me too. Same thing. 1-2 week for me as well. The teaser cashed. The two spots didn't. USC -7. Caleb Williams just rolled over and threw up his entire you-know-what. Speaking of rolling over and throwing it up, the Bills -8.5 certainly did the same for me. But the teaser was nice. Bama got Bama down to -2.5 was completely unnecessary because they just routed him in that second half. And then Old Dominion coming through at a +12.5 with the outright winner by like a touchdown. So 1-2 week, I had back-to-back sweeps before that. That moves me to 10-8 through the start of this NFL season. So let's get back to it. Let's get back on this winning ways.
Oh, yeah. And we will get into it here. You picked quite the marquee matchup here. We got a Fun Belt matchup. The App State Mountaineers, or if you're in Greenville, they're called the Crap State Mountaineers, taking on the Southern Miss Golden Eagles. 17.5. Shop your lines out there, people. I've seen down to 16.5 in some spots as well. 54.5 the total. Mike, your game here. What are you looking at for this one?
We have a barn burner in the Fun Belt here. 3:30 Saturday afternoon. Southern Miss, Appy State, down there in Appy Valley. Southern Miss, 38% of the bets, 50% of the cash on this Southern Miss side. And both these teams stink. Southern Miss is 1-6. App State's 3-4. App State lost to Old Dominion last week outright. That was the second leg of the teaser for me. Coastal Carolina, they took a loss to ULM as well, just not getting it done. 4 straight spread losses in a row on top of losing outright. And the same to be said for Southern Miss. Lost to Southern Alabama. I was on that Southern Alabama side pre their bye, but they are coming off this bye spot here. And I'll tell you what led me to this number here. So certainly we're seeing the cash flow kind of moving in that direction, and we're starting to see some downward ticking here, downward movement. But, I found a trend that kind of fit right-sized for this team here, this game. Right now, going back to 2016, when a team's coming off a divisional loss and both teams are on a losing streak of 3 or more games, when you've got a team getting lined over 10 points, the dog in that spot is 12-1 against the spread, covering by 9.5 points. Also of note is that the under is 3-10 in that spot, but 8.5 points to the under. So for me, the bigger margin, I got the cash flow moving that line, and Vegas surprisingly showing a little bit of concern. WinBet had Southern Miss for me at +17.5. It's -110. I'm kicking my card off in the Fun Belt with a little fun on Saturday at 3:30 Eastern.
Yeah, not a game I got involved with. I think this line is spot on. When I capped this, I had this one at a 17.5. Southern Miss has looked like crap, and they've really not shown me too much to be able to cover even big numbers. I mean, they're not even covering. I remember I took them a few weeks ago. I think it was like +30 something when they played like Florida State, and they got absolutely blown out in that game. What was it? Yeah, it was 31-point dogs. They have not covered in 6 straight weeks. The only game they covered was against the powerhouse of the Braves of Alcorn State.
That's right.
As 24-point favorites. I am definitely not interested in Southern Miss whatsoever, but I mean, there's no value in betting App State in this spot either. So this was an easy stay off for me.
Sounds like a buy low situation for Southern Miss, baby. Let's go. 17.5 points.
Fair. I'll go to a little bit more of a marquee matchup for mine. I am looking at, I believe this is a neutral site game for the world's largest cocktail party, I believe it's called.
That's right.
In Florida there. We have the Georgia Bulldogs and the Florida Gators. The Georgia Bulldogs this year are 7-0 straight up, and they are 2-5 ATS. On the flip side, we have a 5-2 Florida team that's 3-4. So both these teams are winning games, but they're not covering numbers. Now, am I saying Florida is going to win this game outright? I mean, they can. Do I think they will? Probably not. But you know me, if there's a money line available for some of these dogs, I will be sprinkling it there. My number for this game was a 10. So I thought this was just too many points in this spot here with these Gators getting 14.5 points. So I'm taking a shot with them here. It's pretty simple for me. I'm going to look to challenge Georgia to not only win but cover the number. They've done that twice this year. Once was as a 41.5 point favorite against Ball State, where they won by 42. The other one was a ass kicking that they gave Kentucky 51-13. So this is a spot here where it is a pretty decent rivalry usually with this being the world's largest cocktail party. And I think that this is going to be a closer game than expected. Head to head, Florida has covered 2 of the last 3 years. So I think that they're able to at least keep this within 14 points. I like Florida getting the points in this game.
Yeah, so they covered, and those are some good Georgia teams that they were able to cover against. I'm going to be on the other side in the teaser, which I'll cover. I'll cover when we get to the teaser time here. But neutral field game, probably the best matchup on the card this weekend. It's going to be a lot of fun. Everyone's going to be nice and rowdy, and it seems like it's a lot of points, 14.5. But I'll talk more about the other side of it when it comes time to the teaser here. I know that when Georgia's in that favorite role, they tend to find a way to get the job done. So we'll see how that plays out as I talk more about the teaser.
Oh, yeah. I'll head over to the chat, and then we'll get into the NFL. Nicholas Handy in the chat. What's good, Nicholas, there? Joseph Thompson in the chat. Let's get that cash, boys. Let's go. And Gerardo also in the chat as well. We'll transfer over to the NFL. This is a game I've got my eyes on, and I will be talking about this game when it comes to the teaser section later. We have the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Jacksonville Jaguars. The Jaguars are 3-point favorites, 2.5, 3, depending on your book. Once again, shop your line for this game. Total 42 in this spot. What's your thoughts here, Jaguars and Steelers?
Wow, so Steelers, right? Last week we talked about the Rams. It's kind of funny to be, I live bet the Rams. I was telling you that kind of pre-show. And, we got the Jaguars at 5-2. They've been playing really some incredible football here. Coming back to the 2 weeks in London, they gained that confidence. They took that outright win against the Buffalo Bills as well. And then they handled the Colts coming back off of that spot and then handled the New Orleans Saints. So they're running hot right now. On the flip side of things, so is Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh had that big win. After the loss to Houston, they came back, they beat Baltimore, big divisional spot. Then they go on the road and they shut down and came from behind to a Los Angeles Rams team here. They've got Deontay Johnson back. Freiermuth should be back in the lineup. And, the thing about Deontay Johnson is by this guy being back in the field, it's going to open up that offense. It gives Najee Harris an opportunity to get production, which he's been lacking thereof the last couple of weeks while Deontay was out of the game. And, an interesting number as I started digging through the old analytics in the database, I found that, hey, surprise, surprise, when Pittsburgh's in a situation as a dog of 6 or more points, they're covering by 9.5 points on the spot. In fact, they're winning those games outright 6-0 as well. So, the plus 3 is available at -115. There's 2.5s out there. I almost went with the money line, but it wasn't enough for me to get there. It was like a -1. I'm sorry, it was like a +120, a +125. And I thought, for 30 cents difference, I know it's a third of a unit that's difference in the payout there, but I want that 3 points in my back pocket. I don't know if I'm going to end up needing it at the end of the day. I think Jaguars they're certainly ripe and due for a loss, and the Steelers getting their guys back and getting healthy. Tomlin's going to be ready to battle, just coming off that AFC, NFC situation, and they had that Baltimore win as well. They're ready to get their position back on the throne in the AFC, and I took them Steelers +3.
Yeah. And I have a feeling, I haven't bet it yet, but I have a feeling later in this week, I'm going to say you can keep your points, and I'm just going to take the money line +130. That's probably where I'm going to end up going with this game. I'll be going over it a little bit more in detail later in the show for the teaser section, but I do have this game priced at Pittsburgh -0.5. So I think the wrong team's favored in this matchup here with Pittsburgh at home. So I will be most likely on that money line straight up. I may grab some 3 with it if I can get the 3, because right now my book is at 2.5. But I do like Pittsburgh in this spot. Now, my game for this week when it comes to the NFL is one that I had maybe a little bit of intentions on betting, but now I have much more intentions, and this is actually the first play. I think this is the only play I actually have bet at the moment here in the NFL other than my teaser, is this game right here with the 49ers and the Bengals. The 49ers coming in off that loss on national television on Monday Night Football on the road. And now all of a sudden, a little bit of panic has come in San Francisco because Brock Purdy is in concussion protocol, which means it's Sam Darnold season now. It's going to be in San Francisco. And my question is that much of a downgrade? Brock Purdy to Sam Darnold? I think it's more of the system that Brock Purdy plays in that makes him so good. Like, you're going to look good when you have elite weapons like Christian McCaffrey and Brandon Ayuk and George Kittle. Here, Kittle on your offense. And I think with the weapons that the San Francisco 49ers have on offense, they can make almost any quarterback in that system work. And I looked at this game and okay, I'll downgrade the Niners a little bit going from Purdy to Sam Darnold. Maybe 1 point. 3 points? This was a 6 before the announcement that Brock Purdy is going to be out. This is an overreaction line for me. I've already bet the 49ers at -3. And for me, this is just a plain and simple fade the injury report. I think this line is an overreaction. I think this should be still around a 6.5. I don't think Brock Purdy is that much of a downgrade. My original number with Purdy was a 7.5 in this game. So I did see a little bit of value with the 49ers at the 6 number, at the 5.5, 6 number, at the 3 number, just because it's Sam Darnold. I don't think that's worthy of a 3-point drop. For me, I'm going to be on the Niners here, and this is definitely going to be a contest play for me.
Yeah, so unbeknownst to everybody that's paying attention, and make sure if you are paying attention, you hit that like button for us, get this video some promos, get us that like, let it out there, let them know we're doing this thing here. We have been consistent every single week this season, showing you guys a positive record. So show the support, show the love, make sure you guys like that thing. But, we were talking about this one a little pre-game here, pre-show, and I was on the other side of this thing here. I can appreciate fading the injury report. But not at the quarterback position and not with your team struggling 2 weeks in a row. You're not going to bring in a guy that's been on 10 NFL teams and all of a sudden this journeyman's going to be the answer, in my opinion, that gets the job done. So also couple that with the fact that the Bengals, when they're favorites that are on a line bigger than 2, are 12-0 against the spread, winning by almost 10 points. So I think it's upset city, not to mention the Bengals are healthy. They're right. Joey Burrow's been looking sharp out there. And I think it's going to be a big spot. So, CM Ice, it's fitting during, upcoming Halloween here that this guy's seeing ghosts, and he's going to literally be seeing ghosts out there. I think the Bengals are primed for this upset. But, pay attention to the number because you certainly might be able to find even 2s maybe by the time game time rolls out there. But, I'm not so confident in the San Francisco team right now. What we saw is that this team has gone in just 3 weeks' time from the Super Bowl champions to cellar dwellers here. And if they take another loss, they're going to be fighting for a wild card position in the playoffs, which we know they'll end up losing to the Eagles anyways in the long haul. But nonetheless, they struggle at quarterback. They struggle to keep their quarterbacks healthy. We saw that last year in the playoffs, and there's just something not right with that team right now. Now, Christian McCaffrey scoring touchdowns. He's got that great streak going as well. But you got to take 2+ for that guy for that thing to even pay off at like a +250 to +300. So interesting spot this weekend. Should be a lot of fun to watch. And, another number I'll throw out there to you guys, AFC has been beating up the NFC when they've been playing head to head. So a couple thoughts to concern yourselves with. But yeah, to your point, there's been a lot of drop in that number. And I would certainly like to have the Bengals at +5.5s or 6s, not sitting down there around 3. So I could see it being a field goal game at the end of the day. It's just a matter of who gets that last possession. So that'll be an interesting one to watch.
Yeah, and when I look at this game, if you had any interest in the Bengals, congratulations, you've missed your line. Like, and for me, there is a 0. There was, even if I haven't bet San Francisco, there's a 0% chance I'm taking the Bengals at a 3 when you could have gotten a 5.5, 6 earlier in the week. I just won't do that. because I'm not going to try to get the ass end of a line. So
the only caveat to that is the ass end of the line isn't true of reflection, because it's really it's not line movement that took place as much as it is injury news that made that factor.
Correct, but still, I still think that's I personally think this is just too big of a line move, and at the Niners,
I guess the question is Darnold a 2.5 point difference from?
He's not,
and that's what it comes down to.
He's not, honestly, and I anticipate he'll be just fine. I can see this being a lower scoring game if you want to take an under in this game, maybe, because you may think that San Francisco with the backup quarterback gets a little more conservative with their play calling. You can kind of look at it that way if you want to look at trying to fade the Niners with the injuries, maybe just taking an under in this game at this point, which I have to check. I would have to check where that number's moved for the under, but yeah.
But Kittle's got to be due. I mean, he didn't do anything last week, and CMC gets touchdowns.
Yeah, I thought he had a touchdown last week.
Kittle, I don't think he got that touchdown. No, I think he missed it. I could be wrong. I thought he missed it altogether, because I know there were a lot of guys griping about it on Monday night.
Yeah, Kittle.
Maybe he did. Did he? I felt like he missed it. I think I had a number on him, and I thought he missed it. But regardless, CMC, if Deebo Samuel comes back, that should be a fun matchup nonetheless. That's going to be what should be two explosive teams. But I think you're kind of right on there with that quarterback change. Is the under maybe a spot to look at too. So I think you're right. The number comes down to, is it a 2.5 point swing by changing quarterbacks?
Yeah. Trying to click these things. My computer's being slow at the moment.
CLI says you need a permit for those guns. What is it, warm down there?
Yeah.
Hey.
No. Sam Ghostbusters. So who knows?
Dylan says
actually how ironic that timing is. Sam Darnold is, yeah.
Yep.
While the 49ers have a stellar run game, absolutely. He missed it. Okay. He did not get the touchdown. Okay. I didn't know. I don't bet touchdown props. All I know is that Niners game stayed under. I remember it stayed under. That's all I remember. Except for the stupid 60-yard touchdown with 7 seconds to go in the first half. Yeah. That made me want to slam my head against the wall. But that's beyond the point. Teaser time.
It's teaser time.
Teaser time. Mike, your teaser for this week.
Yeah, let's roll here. I'm going to stick to college football. It's been treating me well. And I had 2 looks for you guys here. I talked about this outdoor cocktail party. Georgia, when they're a favorite in the outdoor cocktail party, the last 8 times, 8 times, 5-3 against the spread. Not a significant enough margin for me, but this line opened at 20.5. It's dropped to 14.5. And I know that's a reflection of certain recent play, and 27% of the bets, 43% of the cash on Georgia. Nobody wants to take that, lay those points, but if you add them to a teaser, that number moves to 8-1 against the spread. First leg of the teaser for me, the outdoor cocktail party. Give me Georgia, and it's going to drop Georgia down to a -8. So a critical factor that you line shop and get this at the right book, because 14s or 14.5s. I don't know if it makes a difference, but I certainly like that margin. Give me that 8-1 against the spread number when you factor them in a teaser. Flipping over to the second half of this thing here. What a great situation for Kansas against Oklahoma. This spot here is a fade of Oklahoma in the Big 12 when you've got a top 10 ranked opponent that's an away favorite, and they're coming off of back-to-back conference games with a total over 60. They're 8-22 against the spread. They moved to 5-25 against the spread if you factor them into that teaser. I had to jump in here. We're seeing 80% of the bets, 88% of the cash on Kansas. You got to get this one in early. That number is going to start dropping. There's already 9.5s and 9s out there. But for teaser factor here, I was able to get that 10. I add the 6 points to it. It gives me Kansas plus 16 on a number that we're seeing dip right here. Georgia -8, Kansas plus 16. Oklahoma's been playing stellar. I just think it's a tough spot for them scheduling wise here. And again, that situation specific to the Big Ten against a top 10 ranked opponent. They deserve to be top 10 ranked. They've had nothing but quality wins against opponents. I just think it's going to be a few too many for Kansas this weekend.
Yeah, that line's now at that line's at 10, 9.5 -115 in some spots for Oklahoma. I don't know how I completely missed this, but my index showing a decent amount of value on Boomer Sooner here. I like these Sooners. I think that they're a national they're a playoff contender in my opinion. I think they're the best team in the Big 12. My numbers have them as the number 1 ranked team in the Big 12. I'm actually probably going to be on the 9.5, 10 laying the points with Oklahoma in that game. I'm actually going to be on the opposite side of both these games where you have your teasers. So yeah. But because I've already gave out Florida, and I just looked over my numbers, and I have Oklahoma as a 14-point favorite in that game. So I'm probably going to be getting involved with Little Boomer sooner in that action there.
Tricky spot. I mean, everybody knows what the Sooners have been doing here at this point, but Kansas, I just think, is a little undervalued here. They're coming off a tough game on the road against Oak State. They whomped UCF. They handled them 51-22. Big loss to Texas. If you're going to look at common opponents, obviously Oklahoma was able to get that job done in the Red River rivalry. But they had a big win for Kansas against BYU. So when they play big schools, for the most part, they show up here, and I'm counting on at least getting that extra 6 in there. I think it's going to be a closer game than 16 points.
Yeah, I remember fading Kansas against Texas, and I had a little Okie State last week. I've actually made some decent money betting against this Kansas team this year. So my numbers are not very fond of the Jayhawks. I've noticed over the weeks, and it showed value betting against them. So we'll move on to mine. We already touched on one of these games earlier, and Steelers plus 8.5. I'm going to have them to win outright too at plus 130. I have them as a half-point favorite in that game. Once again, with my teasers, they're always in the NFL, and they are totals below 49.5. And I'm looking for dogs of 1.5 to 2.5, or favorites of 7.5 to 8.5 to get through those key numbers. I'm able to do that with the Steelers there. And then I've noticed one of the higher value games for me this week is how undervalued this Tennessee Titans team is. Because I have them actually as a 3.5, 4-point favorite in this game, and we're getting 2.5 points with the Titans. I'm going to be on the Titans here. I got the Titans plus 8.5 in the teaser in this spot as well. I like them plus the 2.5. I like them outright money line there against the Atlanta Falcons. The Falcons don't have that offense to be able to blow out anybody. And that 8.5, I think, is just way too, or is a good amount. You get through the key numbers, it's a good amount of points here, especially with the game that I can potentially see being a low-scoring game, because I kind of lean under in that Titans game as well. So mine is getting the Steelers and the Titans from 2.5 up above the 3, 4, 6, and 7 up to 8.5. So getting over the touchdown there with these two teams. For my teaser.
I like that under. I like the number on that under. There's a couple of strong trends I had that I'll be talking about later this week on that under. It's interesting to me with the Tannehill questionable. I thought I read in there that Tannehill wasn't going to play, but I just looked at the injury report. He's still listed as questionable. So it's interesting that you like to fade the teams that are having quarterback replacements, catching better lines off it. I mean, I get the strategy. It makes a lot of sense. So that'll be fun to watch too. Should be a good NFL Sunday. And we got plays for you guys all weekend long here. So a couple of college football plays, couple of NFL plays, and teasers on both of the sides for Saturday and Sunday. What else could you ask for? I only ask that you hit that like button. Get that comment out there. Let us know if you guys have plays that you want to throw in the chat. We would love to see them too. So make sure you comment on these videos. Get them out there for us. And let's have some fun. Let's make some cash this weekend, Tim.
Oh, yeah. We'll quickly touch on the chat, and then we will head on out here. Dylan said, all good. I might bet that again. For a little for a touchdown there. And then Mel coming in saying, guys, don't overthink this one tomorrow. Avs money line, lay with the Pens. Much to Mel's delight, I've already laid it with the Avalanche, and I'm also on the over as well, as the Washington Capitals just tied at 18 seconds in the third period. Great. All right.
But you know what? I like that Av spot too. We'll give you guys, it looks like a bonus look here with consensus that we all like the Colorado Avalanche tomorrow. So it'll be a lot of fun to see how we do with that thing as we roll into next week's show. But always a good time, man. Always enjoy getting on here with you and breaking it down. We're having a heck of a season, and you're going to find us all weekend long, giving out plays and picks and talking about our spots and live bets as well.
Yep. But that is going to do it for this one. Quick little recap for this week. I'm running with the Gators plus the 14.5. We're going to sprinkle that money line because I'm a psychopath.
Wow.
I'm on the Niners at -3, and then my teaser is the Steelers and the Titans. For you, Mike?
There we go. We got Southern Miss, a little Fun Belt 3:30 Saturday afternoon action at plus 17.5, making the trip into Happy Valley. The Steelers +3. I like that we're in alignment on that one there. I like your points more than my points, but I think we're both talking about that money line as well, so that might be a little bonus action. And then teaser time, baby. We got Georgia, the outdoor cocktail party. Interesting that we're on both spots, but the last time we were in that situation, we found that middle ground and both were able to cash. And we're going to split heads here again on this Kansas spot. Maybe we can both cash there as well. I think it's going to be a lot of fun this weekend. I might even get some money line action on that Kansas spot because I'm a psychopath. So let's get to that window, my guy. Let's have some fun and let's make that cash.
Oh, yeah, but that's going to wrap it up for this show. We want to thank you guys for watching. We'll be back here, same time, same place next week with some more early plays to PimpSlap. Good luck, guys.
Yeah.